Even though we are a technology company, we're an information technology business, we're an IT services company, we're really in the people business.
While we're in we're in the IT services industry, we're really a people company by choice.
Atrion culture is people. It is the family. It is this group that are coming together to do great things.
The following special program is brought to you by Atrion IT Technology, Rhode Island College, Cardi's Furniture, and the Arpin Group. What is it like, do you think, to listen to 100+ mile-an-hour winds rip at your house or your business? Are you helpless as you watch and hear trees tumbling down and crashing everything else to the ground? Is that worse than when you first step outside into the destruction? And then, after those first steps, filled with trepidation and loss, how do you start to rebuild the life and the world around you? For Caswell Cooke, Town Council and President of the Squamicket Business Association, Steve Hartford, Town Manager, and Ammy Grzybowski, Director of Planning, that has been their daily plight since the winds and the seas subsided from Superstorm Sandy. If you are looking forward to summer, to sand and oceans and long days of warm sunshine, stay tuned to find out what awaits you on the very different coastline of Rhode Island. Welcome back to Renewable Now here in Westerly, Rhode Island in the beautiful Westerly Land Trust building. I am here with Steve Hartford of Westerly, Rhode Island.
Yes.
Steve, how are you doing?
Fine, good morning.
Ammy Grzybowski, Director of Planning. Ammy, thanks so much for being with us. And of course, Caswell Cooke, so good to see you again, Town Council, the Squamicket Business. You're the director, actually, right? The Squamicket Business Association.
Yes.
Steve, we're only going to keep you for the first segment. So we're going to kind of go in reverse order today, and we're going to talk about the storm damage down in Westerly, kind of a microcosm of what has happened in Rhode Island from Sandy, not just Sandy, but some of the damage that we've seen, rising waters and surging oceans and so forth. But we want to jump into, where do you think you are today in terms of kind of rebuilding, but really looking at the future, looking at future industries, looking at how your future in Westerly, as an example, might be different going forward?
Well, I think that the storm, the damage from Sandy, and the work that everyone's doing to recover from that, for us as a community, it really underscores the importance of the physical features of our town and the strength of our town being in the proximity to the ocean and the beautiful beaches that we have. So it certainly underscores the need for the town as a whole and our economic strategy to work hard, to continue to work hard to support the tourism industry. We understand now better than we ever have the value of the tourist industry to our economy, to our community, and we're putting a lot of our efforts into helping restore the beach and recover from the impacts of Sandy and supporting that industry.
But in your role as town manager, just a little bit of an overview. What is the mix of kind of the economy and the natural resources that you use here?
Absolutely, and I mentioned the tourist industry. We want to have a diverse economy, and we work towards that. We do have a very diverse economy here in Westerly.
What's the mix? What are some of the things that?
Well, you know, we're a town that is about 25,000 people, give or take, and we almost double that in the summer because it's really a mecca for people in Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island to come to and have second homes and summer homes. But we have some of our larger employers are the Westerly Hospital and the related medical services in that industry, as well as the Washington Trust Company, which is a bank that was founded in Westerly and now is a big player on the statewide scene. And we also have become really a growth industry for restaurants and revitalization in the downtown.
And I'm assuming fishing?
Well, fishing in terms of sports fishing. We don't have a fishing fleet here. That's out of Galilee and often Narragansett. But
so you have a mix. Certainly, you have what's becoming a bit of a vibrant downtown.
Yes.
Right, and seeing revitalization there.
Yes, we have. And the other thing that a lot of people tend to lose sight of is we're very close to other big industries like Pfizer's Electric Boat in Groton, the casinos in in eastern Connecticut. Those are big employers for the people that live in Westerly, and Westerly has become a real draw for people that work in those industries because of our quality of life. People want to live here. They want to raise their kids here, and we provide a high level of public education, and they want to send their kids to our schools. So that all adds to the mix of our life in Westerly and our economy.
So you've had quite a struggle trying to get ready, right, to rebuild, to almost get ready for what will be your peak season again, which, as you've already explained, is summer. Where are you at in the process? What are the things that you've really focused on? And what are the things maybe that will have to get done before you get double the population base again?
Well, we have come a long way. We feel really good about where we are right now. I would say that we've done two primary things. One is to help restore the physical attributes of the beach, restore the infrastructure, the roads, and all the systems that go into the public infrastructure at the beach. But we've also, on the other hand, we've worked hard to help businesses and homeowners recover from the storm. We're working with the federal agencies and the state authorities, and we've come a long way. A lot of the homeowners have gotten their homes back to where they want to be. A lot of the businesses are ready to go. They're going to be ready to go for the season. And our beaches are definitely going to be open. Come Memorial Day, our beaches will be open. And I expect the people that always want to get down there from Connecticut, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, that want to get to our beaches, they're going to be able to get down there. The beaches will be open. The state beach is going to be open. So we're doing what we can to ensure that happens, and we're well along the way to doing that.
Amy, how do you see this in terms of Westerly in relationship to kind of Washington County, or what people call South County? Are you more devastated? Are you at a level where you've rebuilt a little quicker? Are you a microcosm? Tell us where you're at.
Initially, we were probably the worst impacted from Sandy, but as the manager was saying, we have definitely come a long way. And
can you give us stats? Like, what was some of the damage, the destruction that you saw down here?
The town had approximately between $3 and $4 million in damages. Much of that was the sand that was on the dunes and was now on the street. So moving the sand and screening the sand, but we had 500 structures that were impacted between residential and commercial properties. So the town initially had to do the rapid needs assessment to ensure that those properties were safe. And even at this point, there's only been 10 properties that have been deemed substantially damaged, which just means they now need to come up to 100% code compliance so that we stay with our national flood insurance regulations.
Well, that's terrific. That's a lot of good work. Hold on, we'll be right back.
We want to take time to thank our many sponsors who, along with you, our viewer, continue to make this show possible. Together with the Arpin Group, Cardi's Furniture, Atreon, Rhode Island College, Handy Law, Merrill Lynch, and Ocean State Financial, and our newest partner, WB Mason, we have taken a great ride in 2012 across many cities and towns to major events, and have built our global audience using newspapers, radio, TV, and the web to over 200,000 listeners and viewers per month. We've done that by being graced with great guests, including governors and senators, government leaders, and true pioneers and innovators schools, nonprofits, businesses, and on the streets of our cities and our towns. As Renewable Now continues to grow locally, regionally, and across the globe, we'd like other sponsors to join as partners and share in our success. If you want to promote across the booming green economy with a platform like no other, please contact us by emailing our staff at fiscalrecordings@cox.net or call our co-producer and head of business development, Anne Marie Fisk, at 401-603-2097. You can find the same information at our website as well. We are helping to transform the world. We'd love to do the same for you and for your organization. We are Renewable Now, the business side of green.
Welcome back. Caswell Cooke, let's talk about the business side.
I like how you say that you can intro me sometime like that. Anytime.
You know it. I'm going to say your name over and over. You already told me that. Amy's already given us a little bit of background. Obviously, Steve has kind of jumped forward and we're looking at the rebuilding process. But really, take us through the kind of destruction. You're a business owner, right?
Yep.
And you're very involved with Musquamacut Business Association. Tell us about the destruction and where it put you and where you need to get to.
Well, the day after the storm, when the governor came, I just kind of jumped in the car and said, I'm going with you. So I wanted to get down there and see what happened. And the first thing I saw was the Andrea Hotel, which for people who have come to Musquamacut for years and years from Hartford and Springfield and all around, I mean, the Andrea is just a place that people know, third generation. And I worked there for years when I was a DJ. So I just looked at the street and saw, you know, your kneecap is at the top of where a stop sign is. You know, so you're that high up and it looks like the surface of the moon. And I think I just stood there and cried for about 5 minutes and didn't quite know what to do with myself.
So the landscape was
Totally different. And then I walked with one of our former town councilors, Campbell Field. We walked from the Andrea about 2 miles down to my restaurant at the other end of the beach.
And what did that look like?
The other end of the beach was a little better where I was. I was fairly lucky, just water damage, but just walking down the streets and just seeing the water shooting out, and it was just so weird because a mile up the street it was totally normal. I mean, when I was at my house in town, I thought nothing happened. We had a little storm, and when we got there, you know, the governor said, "This is our New Jersey," and so, you know, Musquamacut Beach.
Are there a lot of businesses in that area that were impacted though?
All of them.
Really?
There was only one that was spared, Two Little Fish, a little restaurant. Just so happened that it just avoided them, but there were some places like Sam's Snack Bar that had been there for years. People knew it. I couldn't even find a post. Like there was nothing left.
So it's a total.
So there were certain places that were totally wiped out, and there were places like the Andrea who had to this winter tear down their building, and they have to rebuild it to the current code up on pilings and whatnot. So it was utter destruction. But what we took from that is we were able to turn it around, get a positive out of it. Every place is being rebuilt. There is pretty much not any place that won't be open this summer.
What was the process though? Did you have to work with the federal government, with the town? Did you need a collaborative that came together quickly to help you get to the point that you could rebuild the business community? Or?
Well, there was the permitting process. I mean, everything takes a year to do anything. And so they made it clear, you know, with Amy and Steve, we're not going to do it this way this time.
We're going to expedite it.
So CRMC and DEM, they would come down and they made site visits, and so they just started issuing permits. You got to get moving, you got to get going. And so we did that. And so, yeah, obviously what Amy, you know, from the town's point of view, as far as we have 2 town beaches down there, so there's those kind of structures, there's the fire district beaches, and then there's the private residences. And I don't think FEMA gives the business owners money. They can get the SBA loans and things like that, but you know, so it's kind of different depending on which properties you're talking about.
Did they have an allocation of money to help rebuild? I'm not sure how they handled the economics, but certainly at least taking the federal money and allocating it back, right, was part of their job and part of your job, I assume, to to help get things turned around quickly, or?
Right, and that's a process that we're still undergoing. We're still working with FEMA and the state and federal agencies in order to try to recover through the process with the public assistance. And but to expedite the process, we did pass a town ordinance so that if the people wanted to elevate, they didn't have to go through all of development plan review as long as they weren't changing the cubic content or the use.
But let's talk about that, Amy, because I think a lot of people, and we've talked about this on the radio side, would say, aren't you going to change kind of your permitting down there, the coastal management? You know, should you rebuild in areas that potentially are going to see the same swath of destruction that we saw from Sandy?
We can work to make it safe. You can, if you come up to current code and come above base flood elevation, most of Mesquamaket, many of the properties were all below base flood elevation. So they saw the destruction that they did because they're not at the elevation that they need to be. So as a town, we are hoping to help people move forward to elevate their structures and become in a safe place. And then we're also trying to, we're seeking grant funding to be able to write a mitigation annex to our mitigation plan just for Mesquamaket, so we can look at land acquisitions or elevations and different things that we might be able to do flood mitigation to avoid this from happening again.
Well, what about you? You're sitting there, right, with a business. How do you feel about the risk going forward, the rebuilding, the ability to insure, the ability to rebuild if you had to again?
Well, you're in a spot where there's going to be storms. I mean, we had the 1938 hurricane. It was 54. There was Gloria in 85. There was Bob in the 90s. So yeah, it's going to happen every so often. But in this storm, which I think was the worst probably since 54, I wasn't there, but anything that was built to the current code survived, like Amy was saying. So the State Beach Pavilion is fine. The breakaway panels broke away. The sacrificial dunes were sacrificed, and it was all right. The places that were built, you know, in 1920, or no, I'm sorry, probably 1939, because there's nothing from before 38, but the things that were built right after 38, they just didn't know what they were doing at the time as far as how you should build. Those places got destroyed. But the places that were on pilings, the homes that were on pilings, they survived. So yeah, I mean, it couldn't survive a tidal wave, but these kind of storms that are happening, if you build to the right code, that's why you have that code, so that you can survive it. And as far as we need dunes. The dunes are what saves things. And so, you know, right after this whole thing, when Senator Reid and White House came down in Landryman and the governor, they said, what can we do? And I just went right to the map. He said, there's a pond right here, Winnapaug Pond. Dredge it, put the sand on the beach so we can build dunes.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a 600-pound gorilla, able to pack any home in a single move. Look, pulling up to our house. It's a delivery. It's a truck. No, son, that's the Arpin Moving Guy. An advanced mover from the Arpin Group, sent to defeat rogue movers and moving giants that provide bad home moves. He delivers customer satisfaction, quality work, and award-winning service. For a super move, call Arpin at 800-343-3500 or visit arpin.com. The Moving Guy, saving the world from bad moves, one customer at a time.
Thanks for staying with us. Caswell Cooke, Town Council and Mesquamaket business leader. So let's stay with that. You made this recommendation that they got to build up the dunes. Are you doing that?
Well, from what I hear, Coastal has signed an agreement to move forward. There was already a design or a partial design, I believe, of the dredging project years ago, and then Katrina happened. All the money went south, rightfully so at the time.
So you work with Coastal Resources on this?
Well, the town is, and so we need to make sure that our delegation to the, our federal delegation can get us the money to do the actual dredging. I mean, I don't know the details of it.
So it couldn't be a long process, or?
It could still continue to be a long process, but we're hoping that from the Sandy bill that was passed through Congress recently, that there may be some funding available to do it.
And that would make a significant difference, I assume.
Would.
it would protect. Is it a mile we're talking about? I mean, what is
no, it's
this?
about 2.5 miles is the Atlantic Avenue.
So when people come to Westerly in the summer, and you swell again, will they see a big difference? What will they see? What will they feel? What will be the differences that they experience here?
Well, I think if you're coming to Watch Hill, you're going to see no difference because Watch Hill survived very well. They lost some dunes under the cabanas. They put them back, and things are good. I think when you go to Mesquamaket, 200,000 people saw this video that was put out by my friend Chris Walsh. It went around the world saying we were destroyed and showed the destruction. I think now people are starting to see, now they see pyramids, during the winter months and the early spring months, these pyramids of cleansed sand. But by the time, May 10th comes, when we open Mesquamaket with our spring festival, everything's going to look like it used to look, except better. Because every place, Patty's, the Andrea, Sandy's Lighthouse, the Windjammer, all those landmark places in Mesquamaket are all getting a facelift. So every place at the beach is going to look new.
Okay.
The state's coming through and fixing up the roads, and so things are actually going to be better. And the thing that to drive home is that every single ounce of sand in that beach has been sifted down to a millimeter.
Yeah, because you've got pollution.
So when people set foot on that beach Memorial Day weekend, there won't be one cigarette butt, one bottle cap.
Yeah.
It'll be the cleanest beach.
Very pristine.
Right. It'll be, so that's what they'll see.
Westerly going forward, what will be the mix, the economic mix? And do you see new technologies? Do you see renewable energy? What are the changes you potentially see here? And as it relates, of course, to the things going on in Washington County, or South County, as some people would call it.
Well, the town is always working towards revitalization and bringing in economic development and renewable energy. We've been working on bringing renewable energy through solar, through different means, which Caswell can speak on, as well as bringing in different industries. We're working with the Land Trust to try to acquire grant money for the United Theater, which was spoke about in a different segment.
So you're involved in that process
The town
as well,
is partnering.
trying
yes.
to restore
Yep.
that into a working theater. What about you?
The last movie I saw at the United Theater was E.T. in 1982, so I'm looking very forward to going to a movie there again.
Tell us about the landscape here for clean energy, for clean technology, for kind of that.
It's tough. It's really tough. As a counselor for 10 years, I have tried way more than once to get windmills in town, to get solar in town, to get a stormwater utility district passed, and it's always met with resistance. So let's put up a wind turbine. Oh no, it's going to give somebody brain tumors. So you get this pushback. But I'm committed, and I know there's plenty of people that work for the town and that are on the council, although not a majority, that want clean jobs, clean energy, and renewables in Westerly. And so we're going to keep working on it. We're working on a solar project right now that I hope will go through. But I won't give up on wind, and I won't give up on solar, and certainly won't give up on the stormwater problem.
Yeah, and as you said, it's been a bit controversial. We were surprised to see some of the projects turned down, honestly, and we thought they were good projects that would start to obviously move us away a little bit, right, from our dependence on fossil fuel, that we would have a cleaner source of fuel going forward, that would, this is an area that depends very much on natural resources and clean air, of course, and that's certainly the image that you want to help project around the world. And
Right.
So we were a little disappointed in that. But what about the business association? Are they fully supportive of those types of things? Do they start to look at remodeling their business? Do they work in conjunction with the town? What's the atmosphere?
I mean, it's unique for the Mesquamaket Business Association because I'm on the town council and I'm also the director. So obviously there's some
balance.
some working together there
Yeah.
because I'm on both. But yeah, there's things that we really want to promote. We want to promote more of the nature. We want to promote. We have a lot of open space around the beach area that people just don't know is there, that they could hike, they could walk, get into. We need a boat launch in Mesquamaket so we can have kayaking and things like that.
Is there a ferry service and all?
There's not, no.
There's not,
no.
okay.
We'd have to build a wharf or something for that. We can get there. But, so there's definitely, we want to move in that direction as much as we can. Ecotourism.
What about, we're here at the Westerly Land Trust, and beautiful building, and they've really done a pretty remarkable job, both on a rural land preservation and urban setting. How do you see Westerly Land Trust, their role going forward in helping to build the right kind balance here between the environment and the economy.
I think with the Land Trust and Save the Bay and the other environmental entities that assist us in preservation, it can only make us positive in smart growth and economic development.
So are they part of the leadership?
I would say.
Yeah. How about you?
Yeah, well, absolutely. I mean, with just the projects that we're talking about in downtown and the skating rink, so those kind of things are great, you know, from my point of view as far as for the economy, for tourism. But going back to our most important resource, which is water. I mean, that's where, and it was brought up in a previous segment of your show, that's where the help is.
And that's where the focus has to be?
Right,
Preservation
absolutely.
and proper use as it relates to recreation, tourism, right? There's a lot of competing entities, even potentially renewable energy sharing.
Right, and having those organizations help and push and advocate for, you know, the things we've been trying to work on, solar, wind, and things like that.
Good luck with watching 3 over the back.
Cardi's is focused to give you a better night's sleep.
By working with those who have the same goal.
Like our nation's most recognized sleep specialist, Dr. Bruce.
Hi, I'm Dr. Michael Bruce. I'm here at Cardi's personally training Nairobi's team to assess your sleep habits and needs, focusing on my 4 tenets of better sleep: thermoneutrality, balance of pressure, complete relaxation, and tranquil sleep, all of which will help you get a better night's rest.
Enjoy an introductory free Dr. Bruce box spring, Cardi's Furniture.
When you throw away money on wasted electricity, you're throwing away everything you could have bought with it. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at energysavers.gov.
As we filmed this 5-part series on economic development in Washington County, Rhode Island, we found such a contrast here in Westerly. We sat downtown in this beautiful home of the Westerly Land Trust, completely undisturbed by the mountains of sands and galloping flooding of Superstorm Sandy. Yet, just a few miles away, this same town struggles to rebuild in time to capture in 3 short months a year's worth of booming sales from fun-loving tourists. It's so interesting to us, the tiny divide between success and failure, good times and bad. Yet, we know from these 5 shows that these strong-willed owners will rebuild and bask in the sunshine once again. So don't forget to come visit. Our sincere thanks to Kelly Presley of the Washington Land Trust and to their whole team for hosting and helping us bring you 5 great shows on the business side